Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, March 15th, 2018. I'm Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. Most of you are pretending you're sick right now. One guy who's healthy and fit, ready to roll, Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports. Steve, how goes it?
Good morning, Daniel. Doing well. Trying to get my bracket lined up. And when I do a bracket, I just predict chaos. So I'm either going to finish first or near the bottom. I just try and peg a shitload of. Oh wow, I can't believe I said that. I try to peg a ton of upsets. I've won one year, and I typically finish near the bottom every other year.
It depends how it's scored, but usually chalk wins out, unfortunately.
I'm just glad this is a PG-13 show.
Well, I'm not taking that out. People are going to love that.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm vibing on North Carolina. I can't explain why. But
I got Arizona in it all.
Interesting. Going for that'll be dramatic.
I think they got the most talent. You know, we'll see if they can get it going together, but I think they're the most talented team.
I think the most talented team is Duke, and that if Marvin Bagley wants to win this tournament, they have a very good chance. If he doesn't,
I got Duke I got Duke losing to Kansas in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
I got Arizona versus West Virginia in the final, so it's chaos.
Ooh, wow. Huggy Bear. Interesting. Press Virginia. All right. What else is interesting? I have no segue planned. Recruiting. That's what we have Steve on here. We'll try and get this done so you guys can go back to pretending you have the stomach flu or whatever the current get-out-of-work free card is being turned in. Trevor Keegan. I saw an article up here the other day from Steve Wiltfong. It does seem to me that he is one of many who seems to be trending earlier to the Buckeyes than I remember this happening in the past. Can you give us the vibe on your boy Keegan?
Well, Keegan took a visit last week, spoke with his dad yesterday, top 247 offensive tackle, number one ranked player in the state of Illinois, 6'6", 300 pounds. My man Trevor Keegan is in baseball season right now where he is the designated hitter for his high school. That's the position he plays. He just bats. So that's a fun way to that's a fun second sport to have in high school where he just bats. But anyway, Ohio State, everything I've been told is the leader right now. Wisconsin is definitely still in the mix. I think Notre Dame, an offer from the Irish could flip things or get things going for them as they're only 90 minutes from home. But right now, the visit to Ohio State, going into the visit, I was told Ohio State led. If they offered, they offered, and then the visit was a home run. Had a great time with Urban Meyer, Coach Stud, got to watch practice, got a lot of one-on-one time with those guys. Trevor doesn't like going to junior days. He likes going on visits where he gets a chance to get to know the people and talk about the program, and had a really great visit. And then also, what's the chicken place right by campus there? It's a southern chicken place, but they have it in Columbus.
Nashville Hots?
No. I don't know. They had like his favorite chicken place near campus too, and that was a win.
If you're over 300 pounds, if you're over 300 pounds, you've been eating consistently. You want to keep that up when you get to school.
Yeah, it wasn't hot chicken takeover or anything. It was just I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but had his favorite chicken place right there, which was icing on the cake of a great visit.
Way to use a football cliche, icing on the cake with chicken. That's a really awesome visual. Speaking of awesome visuals, and we'd be remiss if we didn't spend a portion of the show talking about quarterbacks. I got the vibe from reading Mr. Bill Kurlick recently that it's a Grant Gunnell, Sam Howell battle here to see who will be the quarterback for Ohio State. But when I mentioned that to you, you thought there might be more players to check out. Who else should we be thinking about? And do you believe it's a Gunnell Howell ultimately deal?
Well, I think Max Duggan's in the mix. They had Max Duggan on campus last week, top 247 recruit from the state of Iowa, who had a great multi-day visit. Got to hang with Coach Ryan Day, spent a lot of time with Urban Meyer, also got to watch spring practice. So I think people aren't talking about him enough. Sam Howell, everybody covets Sam Howell. So if Sam Howell wanted to jump in the boat, if Max Duggan wanted to jump in the boat, I think Ohio State would take those guys.
Let me ask you a question. I want you to introduce us to MJ Devonshire. When I see a guy's name for the first time on the crystal ball, I'm a little bit suspect of someone trying to throw a Hail Mary and look smart. He is from Aliquippa, home of Mike Ditka, Tony Dorsett, and many others who have fared quite well in football. What's your vibe on MJ Devonshire? First of all, tell us who he is and then how the Buckeyes feel about him.
Well, I saw MJ Devonshire at the Cleveland Under Armour camp in February, and he said there's no question Ohio State leads for him. So if the Buckeyes push, Ryan Donnelly's crystal ball is going to look good, but that's just a projection pick for Ryan Donnelly. The rest of us have to kind of wait and see how the board shakes out here and see what's going to happen with who Ohio State's pushing for at the position.
I felt a little crystal
There's a lot of
angst
guys
there.
There's a lot of guys that want to go to Ohio State, So
anyway, he's a defensive back.
MJ Devonshire, one of them. Yeah, absolutely, and he's on Ohio State's radar.
Sure.
So another defensive back from Ohio that's also on the radar is Joey Porter Jr. He's a kid that we rank number 1 in the state. Is going to visit Ohio State this spring. 6'2", 185 pounds. His dad is obviously Joey Porter Sr., who went to Colorado State as a receiver but converted to defensive end, and obviously had a great career there, and then went on to the Steelers. And one of the best players of the decade for the Steelers. That's his boy, and he's been tremendous on the camp circuit. So be interesting to see if he can earn an offer from Ohio State.
Joey Porter, I believe, shot in the butt while he was at Colorado State. It's a little trivia for you kids there. All right, yesterday, the class of 2020 rankings came out for 24/7 Sports. This put a lump in my throat because my son is the class of 2020, and I realized they'll be down to less kids here soon. That's depressing. What's also interesting, as of right now, and make sure I put that in there, it does not look like a particularly strong year in the state of Ohio. Not that deep. 1 5-star prospect, a couple other studs, but in terms of the proliferation of studs, don't see it yet. However, it does seem to be that there's a clear number 1 in the class. That is Paris Johnson Jr., a 6'7", 270-pounder from St. Xavier in Cincinnati. So we know he's playing at the absolute highest level for prep. Now, once again, we're back to the state of Cincinnati discussion. Recruiting kind of can go askew there. Do you get the vibe that Paris Johnson is really on his way to becoming a Buckeye? It's just going to be one of those tussles till the hat dance.
I think I have Paris Johnson crystal ball to Stanford.
What? Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, talking to his family, I know he really likes Stanford. He's going to go out there this summer, and but it's not a done deal to any school right now. This young man's taking a lot of visits, and he's going to take a lot more visits. He's going to be back at Ohio State on the 30th. He's been there multiple times. He's going up to Michigan and Michigan State this weekend, been to Michigan State a bunch. Going out to Penn State in early April. He's got a couple teammates or a couple kids from Cincinnati St. X that have signed with Penn State, so he'll have that familiarity, and they're going to do a good job recruiting him. Long way to go for Paris Johnson Jr., and he's not a lock for anywhere, in my opinion. But did you see that? Did you read the article I wrote on him yesterday? Did you see the picture he tweeted of him a couple years ago standing next to Urban Meyer, and then standing next to Urban Meyer a few weeks ago? It's just insane.
It is.
His nuts have certainly dropped, and he is a grown man now. He was 160. He was 165 pounds in 8th grade. He is 285 pounds right now as he wraps up his sophomore year. Played his front, but here's how big he got big fast. He
added a 7th grader.
Well, he did. He absolutely did. He played his freshman year at 205, then was wrestling at 220 by the winter, and then was 265 by the next fall. So, but he looks exactly how you want him to look at the left tackle position. He's an extremely smart kid, good athlete. Dad was an NFL draft pick. And football's his passion, so we're really high on him. I wouldn't be surprised if Paris was ultimately the number 1 player in the country in this recruiting class.
Yeah, as you sit and describe him and I look at him, he does kind of fulfill the mold of every possible thing you want when you go down size, lineage. The fact that he plays at St. X, I don't know how much you guys would figure that into it, but I mean, he's getting elite coaching at that level, so you're looking at a really big-time prospect. He gives a lot of credit.
He gives a lot of credit to the strength coach over there at St. X, and so did his mom for his transformation. And so I know strength program will probably have a lot to do with his college decision. And so you got Mickey Marotti at Ohio State. And I'm not, everyone that listens to this show knows that I have Coach Marotti right up there at the top at what he does, his trade.
Oh, he's the best. He's amazing. 2 more guys I want you to talk about real quick before we get off the class of 2020, not Ohioans. The first is the number 1 rated player in the class right now. First name, Brian, Bryan. Last name, Breeze. It's Breezy or Breeze or Breeze?
I say Breezy.
Okay. We'll find out what it is.
I'm
big defensive end from the DMV.
He's 6'5", 280. He's a guy that can impact across the front. When I saw Brian for the first time in a camp setting last year, he was handing Rasheed Walker his lunch, and Rasheed Walker is a great offensive tackle prospect. And he's a year younger. I mean, the kid's a ferocious player. Ohio State and Penn State were considered the early favorites, real early, but he took a great visit to Georgia this spring. He's going back for Georgia's spring game. He's going to make the rounds. I know he's got a Wisconsin visit coming up. He's got Notre Dame coming up, Alabama. All those schools will be in there for Brian Breezy. But Ohio State, Penn State were schools marked early of high interest.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it's not an Ohio State, Penn State battle. Given where he's from, he goes to Damascus, which is, suburban D.C.,
Sure, but I wouldn't sleep on Georgia and Clemson and places like that anymore, especially Georgia's already shown, Georgia, they've gone up to Pennsylvania and landed DeAndre Swift. They go to New York and land Isaiah Wilson. Those are the top players in those states under Kirby Smart. They go into Columbia, South Carolina and land Channing Tindall. So Georgia's all in on the kid. I wouldn't sleep on Georgia. Clemson, they're doing a terrific job recruiting anywhere they want as well. But, Ohio State, Penn State, and Alabama, I would say those if you had to guess an early 5 for Brian Breezy, I would pick those 5.
He's going to end up at Penn State or Ohio State, maybe Alabama. That's my prediction. I don't think he'd go into the DMV from Georgia.
So now I got to mark this episode. And mark Georgia and Clemson and see. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're sleeping on Georgia and Clemson.
You people have heard Steve Wiltfong call me out there testing my DMV knowledge. He wasn't the first. He won't be the last. That's all right. We hope you guys have a great day. Hope you feel better. I know that stomach flu can really, really set you back. You probably don't want to go into work, sit home, buy the TV. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. The tournament's on. So enjoy that. Go Bucks. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Thanks, guys. See you.